What up, what up, what up, what up, what up, what up? Crypto Warriors, it's Ultra Crypto back at it again. Today is Monday, April 22nd, 2019. Today we will be talking about negative interest rates and the plans that the IMF already have set in place for negative interest rates and how it would affect us in a cashless society. Modern banking system manufactures money out of nothing. The process is perhaps the most astounding piece of sleight of hand that was ever invented. Josiah Stamp, he's a former head of the Bank of England, former chairman of the Bank of England. Let's get into it. Go follow me here on Twitter at Sergeant Crypto 99, and I retweeted this coming from Gold Money Research. Countries with negative interest rates: Japan at negative 0.1, Sweden at negative 0.25%, Denmark at negative 0.65%, and Switzerland at negative 0.75%. Next. Again, this is a IMF blog, their official blog. Cashing in, how to make negative interest rates work. Many central banks reduced policy interest rates to zero during the global financial crisis to boost growth. 10 years later, interest rates remain low in most countries. While the global economy has been recovering, future downturns are inevitable. While the global economy has been recovering, future downturns are inevitable. What goes up must come down. Severe recessions have historically required 3 to 6 percentage points cut in policy rates. If another crisis happens, few countries would have that kind of room for monetary policy to respond. To get around this problem, the recent IMF staff study shows how central banks can set up a system that would make deeply negative interest rates a feasible option. How low can you go? In a cashless society, there would be no lower bound on interest rates. A central bank could reduce the policy rate from, say, 2% to minus 4% to counter a severe recession. The interest rate cut would transmit to bank deposits, loans, and bonds. Without cash, depositors have to pay the negative interest rates, keep their money with the bank, making consumption and investments more attractive. This would jolt lending, boost demand, and stimulate the economy. This is what they're saying. You see it right there on the screen. So they're saying that going to a negative interest rate would make consumption and investments more attractive because you'll be paying to the bank to keep your money in the bank. So when you go to the ATMs nowadays, you get, if it's not your own bank ATM, and you go to another competitor's bank ATM, you get charged for withdrawing your own money. Now they're saying that to even keep your money in the bank, that you will be charged to keep your money in the bank, hence making spending that money as soon as you get paid even more enticing, because you know that keeping your money in the bank will equal you being charged a fee to keep your money in the bank. Also, it'll make investing more attractive as well. Now, investing your money is something that right now, if you don't have money to invest right now, then you're living paycheck to paycheck. Investing is not something that you have on your mind at the current moment. You're worried about putting food on the table, keeping a roof over your head, and if you're lucky, putting clothes on your back or clothes on your children's back. Now they're saying that they're making investments look more attractive. Hence, that will boost the economy because you're investing in companies and investing in real estate. Well, if you don't have the money to begin with, then how can you invest in companies and or real estate, other investment vehicles? You can't, because you're already living paycheck to paycheck. And now you're going to get penalized for keeping your money in the bank. So saving, will be punished. You'll be punished now for trying to save some money to invest. This is why I love the cryptos. This is why now more than ever, you should get into Bitcoin. Basically rescue you from the banks, because you will be charged for keeping your money in the banks anyway. Let's move on. Again, this is not financial advice. I'm just trying to point out plans that the central banks have moving forward, because they won't have a bailout anymore. They'll have a bail-in at negative interest rates. All right, let's move on. Breaking through zero. One option to break through the zero lower bound would be to phase out cash. That is not straightforward. Cash continues to play a significant role in payments in many countries. Because why? Cash is king. I know a lot of people that I still use cash, for crying out loud. You know, because I don't want to use my credit card. I use my credit card, I'm gonna get charged, you know, and all that stuff. Some stores local stores that I frequent, they don't even accept debit cards because they get charged a fee. So it's easier for me to use cash with them. You know, I try to convert them to using cryptos and Bitcoin. They don't even want to understand it. They don't even want to try and understand it. They just say, hey, I want cash. You know, it's easier for me to use cash. And if I use a debit card, then they have to charge the taxes and things like that, and they sometimes even charge a little extra because they get charged for processing it through Visa and MasterCard or whatever the hell it is. So it's easier to just have cash on hand and go get my morning bagel and coffee using cash. They won't be getting charged a fee from Visa, MasterCard. You know, cash is still king. Oh, there it is. Cash is still king. While Sweden and other countries have been moving to a cashless society, most countries still rely on cash. And currency in circulation, percent of GDP as of 2017. Look, Japan is at negative 0.1% in interest rates, and they use the most cash in their society still. All right. The proposal is for a central bank to divide the monetary base into two separate local currencies, cash and electronic money. So that CBDC that I have been talking about, you know, that's central bank digital currency that I've been speaking of in other videos, that CBDC, it's coming. All right. They're calling it e-money in this blog post here. E-money would be issued only electronically. We already have cash that's issued electronically right now. When you get paid, or at least when I get paid, and it goes via direct deposit into my bank account, that's e-money. All right, it's just numbers on the screen. But what they're saying is they're going to issue a specific e-money versus cash. All right, so it will be issued electronically and would pay the policy rate of interest, and cash would have an exchange rate, the conversion rate against e-money. So now down here they're talking about, they break it down even further. So to illustrate, and suppose your bank announced a negative 3% interest rate on your bank deposit of $100 today. You know, the conversion rate of cash dollar into e-dollars would hence change from 1 to 0.97 over the year. After a year, there would be 97 e-dollars left in your bank account. If you instead take out 100 cash dollars today and kept it safe at home for a year, exchanging it into e-money after a year would also yield 97 e-dollars. So either way, you're going to get screwed. If you leave it in the bank, right, they're going to take some off the top. If you keep the cash at home, right, if you just go to your employer and say, hey, I want to get checks instead of direct deposits, and you cash out, or whatever the case is, you're going to get screwed either way. The central banks and the banks are going to take their money regardless. And then they go down to pros and cons, and I'll leave a link to this article in the description below, and you can read the pros and cons yourself. It's all cons. There are no pros to it. Okay, so they're going to say there are no pros to it. You're getting screwed either way. The only pro is to get Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, because it's deflationary and you're not getting charged a negative interest rate for having Bitcoin. As a matter of fact, there are different companies right now that'll pay you up to 7% for having Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, and they'll pay you those interest rates in that particular cryptocurrency, like BlockFi, and there was another one I saw earlier in another video or a Twitter post or something like that. All right, so having money now will be the bad thing to have. You're going to start, you'll start seeing it on the news. Terrorist fund being paid for by cash, sex trafficking being paid for by cash. They're going to start spinning that right now on the news and in different, articles on, web or whatever, and start spinning it as having cash as a bad thing. 10 years ago, it was Bitcoin. Having Bitcoin was a bad thing. But now that the bankers are starting to get into Bitcoin, Bitcoin is now seen as a good thing. And I'm going to do another video later where Russia is trying to suppress their people from investing in Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies because they can't control it. To further reiterate what I've been talking about, it's all cons, man. There is no pros for having a negative interest rate. The only pro is in the interest of the banks themselves. Because even if you have cash right now and you're holding on to your cash, when you go to deposit it into your bank, they're going to take it off the top anyway. And stores will start to have things priced in eCash and then have things priced in regular cash. And they're going to, if I was running a business, if I'm running a store, right? If I'm going to get charged that 3% anyway, I'm gonna have to pass it on to my consumers. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to have to pass it on to my consumers because I'm getting charged it. I'm getting charged that negative interest rate anyway. So even when you go to the stores and you use cash, it's going to be a bad thing. So either way, we're screwed, people. This is why it's important to have Bitcoin and start using Bitcoin. Because if we start having things priced in Satoshis, then guess what? They can't charge us a negative interest rate on it because it's priced in Satoshis and we're using Bitcoins to transact and using it as that means for transactions. All right. So that's just what I believe, and that's just my opinion because of what they are planning to do right now. You let me know what you think. Do you think it's, Bitcoin is the answer, or cryptos is the answer, or having your money in the bank where you're getting charged a negative interest rate is the answer? You let me know. I know what I think. And this is why I'm always asking store owners to start using Bitcoin. This way we won't get charged that negative interest rate. And they can't control it because guess what? It's not issued by a bank anyway. So let me know what you think. It's your boy Sergeant Crypto as always. Thanks for the support. Hit that like button, share, all that good stuff, and let's discuss it in the comments section below, man. This article again will be linked in the description below. And thanks for the support. And I'm out. Peace.